most people can't concentrate because they've never been taught how to concentrate and they don't practice it. So if we don't learn to concentrate and we don't practice it, well, obviously you can't practice something you haven't learned, then how can you be good at it? And what we practice all the time is distraction. So the more you practice distraction, the better you become at it. And people are masters at distraction. People think technology is distracting. I've had so many people come up to me, hold their cell phones up to my face and go, these things are ruining our lives. And I go, no, these things are not ruining our life. This is a beautiful piece of technology. What's ruining your life is your inability to exercise discipline around the use of it. So the idea is that you use technology as opposed to technology uses you. In the same way, if you look at your whole day, how do we integrate the practice of concentration throughout everything that we do? The one way I tell people to practice concentration is doing one thing at a time. So giving someone your undivided attention is a great way to practice concentration. Every time I speak with my wife, I give her my undivided attention. If my awareness drifts away, I bring my awareness back to her and I stay focused on that conversation. There are two things we need to understand. There's the mind and there's awareness. And you're not the mind, rather you're pure awareness moving through different areas of the mind. So your mind doesn't move, rather your awareness is moving through the mind. So people are going from one course to another, to another, to another. And then people in my industry, the self-help industry, that's how they make the money, right? You keep selling your over and over again, and you just keep buying. And you think you're learning and growing, but you're not. Because you don't even practice the first thing you do, you're taught. So for me, the first thing you want to learn is concentration. Because if you can't concentrate, you can't solve problems. You can't be better at what you do. How can you be a great athlete? How can you be a great singer, an artist, a scientist, a doctor, if you can't stay focused long enough to gain mastery over the topic? Where awareness goes, energy flows. And a simple analogy I always tell people to look at awareness as a glowing ball of light. Your awareness is a glowing ball of light that's floating through the mind. And you can control where it goes. And there's different areas of the mind. There's an angry area of the mind. There's a healthy area of the mind. There's a science and sex and food and photography. And if your awareness is going to a particular area of the mind, that's where energy is flowing, because where awareness goes, energy flows. And energy is like water. If whatever I water will start to grow, right? So if I took a watering can and I watered a garden bed, would the weeds grow or the flowers grow? Both, right? Because water can't tell the difference. Energy works the same way. If I put energy to a particular area of my mind, it will start to grow. So if I want to develop a particular area of the mind, all I need to do is harness my awareness, take it to that area of the mind and hold it there long enough so there's enough energy going to that area and that area starts to get strengthened. And different people cultivate different areas of the mind. Some people are happy. They're always happy. They're always an optimist because that's where their awareness is going. And because awareness goes there, energy flows there, more energy is deposited there. More energy deposited there means more magnetic, which means it pulls awareness there much easier. The mind basically has no ability to tell what's good for you and what's not good for you. If the mind actually knew, we'd all be perfect. I'd wake up in the morning, my mind would tell me meditate for an hour, do yoga, run, work out, eat this breakfast, then sit down for 2 hours or 1 hour, then stretch, then do this. No, my mind just is like, do whatever the hell you want to do. The mind doesn't know, right? So whatever we tell our mind, whatever we repeat over and over in our mind creates patterns. And these patterns, when they're repeated, whether they're repeated consciously or unconsciously, become deeply ingrained and become extremely difficult to break. He said, learn to lean on your own spine. And in the monastery that I lived in, there were 27 monks. And, in the 52 years he taught, he had 27 monks when he died. So it wasn't easy to get in. He was a tough teacher, a very loving, wise teacher, and it wasn't easy to stay in. But, the one thing he always said to us is that don't lean on me, because one day when I die, you're going to fall over. Learn to lean on your own spine. And I think in today's world, people lean on so many things, right? Whether it's drugs or technology, and we just complicate things, right? For thousands of years, I believe, people learn to become sensitive to their mind, their body, and their nervous system. And that's how we survived on this planet. All over the world, whether it was in Europe, Africa, Asia, people went out to the forest. They knew what leaf or root or plant healed something. And that's how we survived, right? There was no doctor or pharmacy to go to. We understood our body. We knew how to connect with plants, with things. We were sensitive enough. And now, in today's world, we are the most amazing tool on the planet, our body and our mind. but yet we don't try to understand it ourselves. We need technology to tell us about our body. We need other things to tell us about our mind, right? Get to know your mind, get to know your body so that you can understand it. And we have the most amazing tool in the world, yet we turn to other things like technology and drugs and everything. Why? Just go within yourself and find out all answers are inside of you. So one common thing people say to me is, Dhanapani, if I meditate 5 minutes a day in the morning, will that help me concentrate? Two things there. One is meditation doesn't help you concentrate. This is a total false, erroneous belief. Concentration leads to meditation. You cannot meditate unless you can concentrate. So meditation doesn't help you concentrate. Second is, look at it this way. Your whole day is a preparation. At first, your rituals throughout the day is what supports you. Then you start meditation, right? You can't meditate for 5 minutes a day and then the rest of the day practice distraction. Don't lead a life that supports meditation. My guru had a beautiful saying, and he quite often would say that, most people can't meditate because they do not lead a life that supports the practice of meditation. One of the brilliant things about my teacher was that he proved to us and showed us that technology and material things are not bad. There's nothing wrong with TV. There's nothing wrong with the cell phone. There's nothing wrong with computers. There's nothing wrong with the internet, as long as you are in charge. But if you allow the internet, whatever's happening on your computer, on your phone, to dictate your awareness in your mind, then you become a slave to technology, and then it can train you to be distracted. But as long as you're in charge of it, then it's totally fine. What beautiful tools, huh? I can pick up my phone and FaceTime my mom in Australia. I can see her, I can talk to her, I can smile and laugh. Why is that a bad thing? But I need to be in charge of my phone, and I think in today's world, we allow everything on the phone, everything on the computer, on the internet, to dictate where our awareness is going, and therefore we become a slave to everyone and everything around us. Problems are not problems. They're subconscious patterns that need to be adjusted. And I love that saying, problems are not problems, they're subconscious patterns that need to be adjusted. Once you understand that, all you have to do is adjust patterns in your subconscious, and you can change so much in your life. Because so much of the patterns in there were either placed in there by you or your surroundings, your family, your school, what you watch on TV, what you listen to, your environment, programmed to subconscious. So if you can adjust those patterns to what you want, you solve the problem. I think at the end of the day, it's all about desire. How badly do you want it? And most people, to be honest with you, don't want it badly enough. And when my guru asked me, when I told him I wanted enlightenment or self-realization, he asked me, what are you willing to do for it? And I said, I'm willing to give up my life. So I was willing, in my early 20s, when all my friends were graduating from engineering school with me, they were going out and parties, and shagging women and getting drunk and, earning money, buying a car, getting an apartment, traveling the world. I said no, because I wanted something more. Not that I didn't think those things were great. I wanted something more. And I think today, how many people really want to be concentrated? I would say there's so many incentives for concentrating, right? Benefits for concentration. Number one is that ultimately I would like to think that most people want to be happy. I think very few people wake up and say, I want to be miserable today. Most people want to be happy. How do you be happy? First, you become clear of what you want in life. You identify your purpose in life. You identify who and what is important in your life. Your purpose defines your priorities. Once you identify who and what's important in your life, then when you're doing what you love, when you're spending time with the people that you love, how do you get the most out of it? So if you love going to the gym and working out for an hour, how do you get the most out of it? You get the most out of it by being able to be concentrated while you're doing that. So if I love spending time with my best friend, having a glass of wine with him and sitting with him for an hour and chatting gives me tons of joy, and that's a priority in my life. The only way I can get the most out of the experience is learning how to concentrate. If I can give him or her my undivided attention for an hour, I can get the most out of that experience. The byproduct of that is I feel happiness. Right? At the end of the day, if you really want to have a life that's a happy life, you really have to be clear who and what's important in your life. And in doing those things, you have to be fully present. And the only way to be fully present so that you can fully experience those experiences is to be able to be concentrated.